that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion, and many more. And certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, at the wake of this morning, we definitely are reminded that there's so many courts. We do have the law courts, we do have family courts apparently, but we also do have courts that people wear, which my brothers are wearing this morning. But anyway, good morning Uganda, and welcome to the 23rd day of February 2021. The day is Tuesday and we're ready to usher you into the day with everything that we're going to be talking about. But of course, in consideration of the fact that we are in the Lent period, and Reverend Felix Nkunda is preparing something for us to bite on, because the word of God is indeed the word of life. But anyway, my name is Priscilla Naloga, and good morning to you, Uganda. Good morning, Northern Uganda. Good morning, Eastern Uganda. Good morning, Western Uganda. Good morning, Southern Uganda. Good morning, Central Uganda, and our dear fellow Ugandans that are actually in the middle of the lake. You are on some island somewhere, and you're still choosing UBC as your home for this morning. Can I say to you, good morning. Now to the courts that I have with me this morning. Good morning to you, Robert.
Good morning, Priscilla. Good morning, people in diaspora, wherever you are and you're watching UBC TV. It is a morning like any other morning, but one unique thing about it, it reminds me of the words of the late Colonel Muammar Gaddafi when we were attending the Afro Youth Summit that was held at Speak Resort Munyonyo. He was one of the major funders of the Afro-Arab Youth Summit. Gaddafi came out very clearly and said, one of Africa's problems are elections. That every time you're in elections and after elections, something crops up. So the time that you would be spending in development, doing other constructive issues, ends up being wasted in issues of politics all the time. Citing, you had elections on the 14th of February, now court, again now public court. So I just recalled the words of Gaddafi. I said, I think, yes, the late Muammar Gaddafi had a reason why he said such words. But this is one of the hindrances of Africa.
If you will notice, every Tuesday they do wear the same shirts of coats and trousers. This morning, Felix Nkunda also in grey. Good morning to you, Felix.
Oh, good morning, Priscilla. How are you?
I'm very well.
Right?
Yes, I am.
It's lovely to see you, though with yourself in black. One of my best colors. You look awesome and beautiful in that.
Merci beaucoup.
But just did you also mention about the verse of God? I must give you something from Isaiah 28:16. And it does say that, therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Look, I am placing a foundation stone in Jerusalem, a firm and tested stone. It is a precious one. It's a precious cornerstone. what is safe to build on. Now, whoever believes needs never to be shaken. This is a verse that basically speaks, Isaiah was basically talking about his revelation on how the firm foundation must be anchored on the belief of the only one, that if for them who shall take forth his knowledge and know him, ye as God, shall never wander, shall never be shaken. As you remember, if you have those memories of those songs, Jesus, your firm foundation,
I know I can stand secure. Why, yeah.
Exactly. So basically, this is where the verse, that's where the song springs from, that verse. And it talks about Jesus as the cornerstone. And if you do anchor yourself and believe in everything you do as Jesus as your cornerstone, your firm foundation, everything in life will be sweet. Just like the economy of Uganda.
All right. So allow us to sway into the rest of Good Morning Uganda. We definitely have a lot to talk about. The media went to court and also presented the matters of security. Of course, we do have the court that is making headlines everywhere. Everyone is talking about it, and we will be talking about that later. And of course, we do have a guest that will be giving us the legal angle and spectrum as well as perspective to the matters. But remember that you can work with us the whole 9 yards up to 9 a.m. on our social media platforms. That is on Twitter at UBCTV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCGMU. And on Facebook, we are streaming live this morning, so you can be part of the journey. As you get your next destination, your phone can turn into your television set on UBC television. But also, YouTube is available. Our YouTube channel is UBC Television Uganda. We also are always there, so you can catch up with the platform of your choice. It is Good Morning Uganda. We get to look into the deep of the conversations that have made rounds in the last 24 hours.
But of course, speaking about news that did make rounds, Priscilla and Robert, you do take notice that yesterday something quite unusual happened, where we had one of the Ugandan-born, that is Edna Martinson, who's also the co-founder of Bodo Learning, a game-based learning platform that is, of course, in 2018. It was basically innovated to combat educational gaps and help improve students' outcomes in elementary school. Now, she was recognized and awarded by Forbes.
Wow.
It is, we are doing great. I can see yesterday we're talking about Shema, Graham. Today we're talking about Edna rather, Manson. It's quite beautiful that we're having these young lads coming out to prove a point, to take their place, to take their piece of the pie onto the national spectrum or international spectrum for that matter. I feel this should be encouraging all youth out there and young lads out there. Try something out that you're passionate about. Believe yourself and have fun as you do it.
Just out of curiosity, Felix, when you were young, what did you try out that you were passionate about, apart from passion fruits, of course?
Yeah. You don't say. Trust me, you know what to do.
I just had someone whisper to me, "Chupa miyembe."
You know what to say. I was very, very enterprising. I did a lot of things.
Okay.
I did loads of things. I will tell you. I think at about probably 6-7 hours already up and running, doing scrap stuff, a lot of things. I mean, I'm a town kid, come on. Exactly, rearing rabbits, looking, all those things, you know what kids do. I didn't get an opportunity to form apps or go to the cockpit like Graham, but
it was not for your time, Felix.
Clearly, my cockpit was...
Certain things were just not supposed to be for your time.
But so my cockpit was in the chain. You know, chain of a bicycle. That was my cockpit.
All right. So for me, my passion when I was younger was actually baking and cooking. Like, I used to be fascinated by how food turns out from fresh into cooked stuff. So every time the housemaid was cooking, I'd just go sit in the corner and watch her keenly. Then the day came and I was given the opportunity. I attempted everything. Okay, the good enough, yeah, things were edible. That's the good news. But over time, I've perfected my trade or my passion. One wonders what was Cheryl's passion. Maybe it was
I was good at, I loved cars so much. Yeah. So I would get wires. Then try to make out something. So one day I said I must drive my own car. I got some wires, got some wood, came up with something. Then I went on a slope, a hill, that it would go down. The wounds I sustained. But unfortunately, my mother, instead of first caring about my wounds, she's first hit me thorough. Said, okay. From that day, all my wire-made cars were burnt from home.
Oh.
And
And you see, this brings to light how African parents kill the dream. You
Kill
know,
the what?
The dream.
No. I wouldn't.
Why
even,
would you confiscate his playthings?
There's no dream
if
for
he
a
has
dead.
interest in wiring
Do dead kids
woodwork,
have dreams?
That was his dream at that
No,
time.
but
Now imagine
me
if
tell
the mom
you.
had nurtured that. This guy would be an engineer right
Maybe
now.
he would have one leg.
It's okay.
It's
with
okay?
his one leg, he would still be doing his fashion.
You can imagine
we have
Chirabo
seen fashion
with
taking
his
off heads of people who
height,
have to go
long,
to
long
the
height.
seas.
Felix, I would succeed. You see this Kira Motors, I would be the major consultant. By then, make buses. You see, so I would be somewhere there. And and a consultant. Because by the age of 5.
Priscilla.
Felix, you're talking, but even you would be a consultant in the
what?
thing that you talked about, the gender.
The government sold all the bicycle companies.
But the president said that we should adopt the bicycles. So now you're doing business.
What I later discovered is today I'm seeing young men making money out of the cars I used to make. They're selling them on the streets.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, well, I could do this even better if I had carried on.
Yeah.
But when it was a ban, never to see any in the compound. And once my mother said never, it meant never.
But you know, you should also not give up. Now that you're of age and you have power over your own self and your own things, you can actually go back to the drawing board. It's never too late, guys. Honestly,
I'll do that for
today's
my son.
takeaway in whatever we're saying, do not allow it to be late. The only time it's going to be late is when you are in the grave, 6 feet under. Until then, you can still do it, whatever it is you want to do. But we also have to get into
I'm
seriousness.
sitting here wondering, you guys talking about cooking. Some of us didn't have time to dream, man. We were running after after life, running from a cane, running from what, and then you were there here cooking. Where did you get time to do that? Anyway.
Well, so much, you know, each of you has memories. Just go back that memory line. What is that really inspired you that you're doing well in your childhood? We know many of you will discover that actually at a certain point, maybe you lost your dream.
Yeah.
Is it too late, or can you still go back and pick
Just
up
a little
your
interruption, Robert. There's a gentleman that we hosted at some forum, and he was talking about his dreams. He wanted to be a doctor, but he had to go through BBA school. Then he went for pharmaceutical because he couldn't go directly. So he had to go back to senior 4, sit his examinations again, then do 5 and 6 to be able to do the PCB math, those things. And then he qualified eventually. Then he had to the marks that he got could not give him direct entry into medicine. So now he had to go do pharmaceutical. Then after that, he got the entry into medicine. But at what age did that come? At 45. So he still held on to the dream. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget, yes, away from politics, childhood memories. Remember also, boosting your immune system is very, very important. Yeah. COVID is still around, so take drinks. Take Hallelujah, Ginger tea products, Hallelujah, turmeric, and this will boost your immune system. That is what we do here every morning. Remember, COVID is real, COVID is around. And apart from the drills, you can also ensure you take foods and drinks that boost your immunity. It's time we look at some of the stories that were in our news bulletins, beginning with Kyagulanyi withdrawing his election petition from the Supreme Court, where former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has withdrawn his presidential election petition filed in the Supreme Court. According to Kyagulanyi, he sees no fair dispensation of justice to prevail in the matter before court, following the court's refusal to admit his 200 affidavits presented to court last week. On 1st February 2021, the former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu filed a presidential petition challenging President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's victory in the just concluded elections. Although the Supreme Court Justice directed and ordered all parties in the matter on the way to go in filing their submissions, unfortunately, the petitioner Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu defied those orders when he filed his evidence after 14th of February 2021, contrary to the court's directive. Following legal stalemate, last week Kyagulanyi's legal team, led by counsel Wameri Anthony, filed an application in the Supreme Court to leave to file the remaining 200 affidavits in support of their case. However, in the last court session before the panel of 9 justices of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Alfonso Winyidoro, court declined to admit Robert Chagulanyi's applications. Following this, yesterday morning, the former presidential candidate Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu vowed to withdraw his petition from the Supreme Court.
A lawyer in the presidential election petition lodged by National Unity Platform challenging President Yoweri Museveni's victory is not surprised of planned withdrawal by the petitioner. Counsel Hussein Kashiringi says the case lacked a legal basis and was basically a hearsay and a nullity in law. According to the Presidential Election Petition Act Section 61(1), an election petition shall not be withdrawn except with the leave of court. This simply means Chagulanyi's announcement to the media to withdraw his petition challenging President Museveni's victory on January the 14th will only be valid after the same courts grant him the request. But even if the court accepts Bobby's petition withdrawal, this may come with costs as President Museveni's lawyers are planning to file costs and damages. According to Museveni lawyers, Bobby Wine's petition lacked evidence and legal credibility and could be the reason he has decided to opt out of the petition. Kashiringi further rubbishes Bobby's allegations of bias among the judges.
The new principle, despite of Chagulanyi developing cold feet to withdraw his election petition challenging incumbent Museveni's victory in the just concluded presidential polls, the judiciary said the president election petition is scheduled to resume on Wednesday, the 24th of February this very year, with parties in the case expected for hearing. According to the judiciary spokesperson, Jameson Kalemani, whereas the petitioner, Robert Chagulanyi, has announced plans to withdraw the case, court has to be formally notified and decide on the matter. Since last week, on several occasions, National Unity Platform principal Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu has been insinuating on plans to withdraw the 1st February presidential petition from the Supreme Court. Yesterday, Chagulanyi then rubber-stamped his long daydream into reality. As per the provisions of the Presidential Elections Act as amended in 2005, although the law okays withdrawal, the judiciary spokesperson Johnson Kalemari asserts that court must be served formally. Chagulanyi, among other, digs out the recent decision by the Supreme Court to disallow his amendments, affidavits, and failure for revisal of the members of the bench, thus anchoring his attempt on withdrawing the case.
Forum for Democratic Change Party in its Monday press briefing made conclusive remarks that Uganda police force is fused with the army to manhandle the public, including members of the opposition and the Fourth Estate, by security operatives. The party's deputy spokesperson, John Chikonyogo, at the press conference alleged that while the police is supposed to keep law and order as enshrined in the Constitution and the Police Act, it has stand to the contrary, taking the front in committing brutality and violating human rights. State Minister for Internal Affairs, Obiga Kania, refuted these allegations, saying UPDF and Uganda police have different acts. However, government is in discussions to see if some institutions can be merged. Obiga Kania clarifies that in situations where the nature on internal disturbances cannot be handled by police, it is authorized to call on other agencies for help. Some of the operations where the army has reinforced police are military in nature.
Back to court, journalists have filed a case against the Attorney General to the Court of Appeal for the continued abuse and state interference in matters of their legal profession and rights while executing their duties. The case comes at a time when more than 5 journalists were strongly manhandled, beaten and assaulted by security agents attached to the military police while they were at the offices of the United Nations Human Rights Commission last week to cover the petition of Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu. On the 17th of February this very year, more than 5 journalists were beaten, sustained physical injuries, and their gadgets destroyed while they were covering the National Unity Platform President Robert Chagulanyi, who had showed up to petition United Nations Human Rights Commission. On the 18th of February this very year, the Chief of Defense Forces, General David Muhoozi, came out to condemn apologized and regretted the actions of security operatives against journalists and ordered for immediate action to be taken against individual security personnel. Even when the orders were respected, journalists were still dissatisfied, alleging that the convicted were not the right people and still demand for real victims to be arraigned for public identification and face a long arm of the law.
Construction of Kampala Northern Bypass Phase 2 will be completed by June 2021, according to pronouncements from Uganda National Roads Authority. The bypass that stretches from Nambole approximately 11 kilometers to the east of Kampala winds through the suburbs of Nalya, Chiwatule, Kulambiro, Chigowa, Bukoto, Mulago, Makerere, Bwaise, Kawala and Namungona and ends at Busega, 8 kilometers west of Kampala East. It has 6 new graded separated interchanges at Sentema, Hoima, Gayaza, Bukoto Chebando, Ntinda Chisasi and Nalya. Overall, progress on this 17.5 kilometer bypass is a 70.2% with high hopes that it will be complete by June this year, according to UNRA.
Now, of course, a couple of court news making rounds there, but of course now we do cross over to our international stories, and we'll be looking at something quite heartbreaking there, and US surpasses 500,000 COVID deaths. Now, more than at least 500,000 people in the United States have died of coronavirus, according to Johns Hopkins University data, and the highest death toll by far of any country in the world. Now, the country reached the harrowing tally on Monday, just about a year after the first known death was reported in the state of California. Now, today we mark truly a heartbreaking milestone of at least 571 dead people, U.S. President Joe Biden said after a moment of silence was observed on Monday evening at the White House, now which was lightened by hundreds of candles representing those who have died. Now, this is more Americans who have died in 1 year of this pandemic than in the World War I and World War II and the Vietnam War combined. That is more lives lost to this virus than any other nation on earth. Now, but as we acknowledge the scale of the mass death in America, we remember each person and the life they lived. They were people we knew or people we felt like we knew. It is tragic, and we do come to you people to bring a message of hope that the darkness is about to dawn. That was a statement of Joe Biden, the now President of the United States of America. And of course, still speaking about coronavirus, now Boris Johnson unveils plans to end England restriction by 21st June. Now, new 4 steps plan to ease England lockdown could see all legal limits on social contact lifted by 21st of June. Now, if strict conditions are met, shops, hairdressers, gyms, outdoor hospitality could reopen by 12th of April, and in England under plans set by the Prime Minister. Now, at least from 17th May, 2 households might be allowed to mix in homes, while the rule of 6 could apply in places like pubs. Now, it requires 4 tests on vaccine infection rates and new coronavirus variants to be met at each stage. Now, at least the Prime Minister also came out to say that the plan aimed to be conscious but irreversible, and at every stage decision would be led by data and not simply dates. Now, still speaking about tragedies, we're looking at the Italian ambassador who was killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Of course, now the ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo has been killed in Goma, the Italian Foreign Ministry has told CNN. Now, Luca Antanasio died alongside an Italian soldier after their car was attacked, and they traveled in UN convoy on the eastern part of the country. Now, it is with deep sorrow that the Fanasina confirms the death today in Goma of the ambassador of Italy to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Luca Antanasio, and of a soldier from Cariberiari. The ministry made this statement. Now, Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi has put out a statement expressing condolences to the families of the Italian ambassador and the soldier named Vittorio Iacovici. And of course, the World Food Programme said in its statement that one of its drivers was killed as well in this same attack. Others in the convoy also sustained injuries, according to UN agencies. We do pray for the souls of those that deceased. Quite unfortunate, most of our international stories are marred by pain and sadness, springing from the USA surpassing 500,000 deaths of coronavirus, crossing over there at least to UK, which at least has made some strides in the effects and efforts of vaccinating its people. No wonder it's looking at the 21st of June to be able to open up entirely. And coming back to Africa, we did see the attack that did happen on the ambassador of Italy in Goma there in Democratic Republic of Congo. Quite sad, something that we do not want to see again. Shedding blood of foreign people who mean good, the assumption is the same. It's something we don't want to see. It's painful and sad. Maybe that explains why my sister probably she for us so.
No, actually, the one question running through my head is that weren't these UN cars Ahmad?
Oh, Ahmad?
Yeah, Ahmad.
Ahmad? Okay. Chidabo, were these UN cars?
I'm asking you, Felix.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Why me?
You're the one who has given us the news. Because
definitely, if bullets or whatever was used could go through, it means they weren't Ahmad. But you see, Ahmad cars are not, because out of 1,000 cars,
you see, this is UN we are talking about, and they're delivering food in a very high security and safe area zone. That should be a consideration. And they're even carrying a delegate at that, not just any delegate.
Delegate wasn't going to supply food.
If I may come in, Priscilla, first and foremost, like Felix said, armored vehicles are not, it's not like salt that every home will have.
We're not
so they are very rare to come by. Then second, when you look at UN missions, most of the times, now this was food delivery and the ambassador had followed, most of the times armored vehicles are the ones they have the tankers when they know they're now going on more of a fight, a peacekeeping mission. But when they're going to deliver food, usually they do not take that military hardware, and this was a purpose. But previously, rebels would not target Red Cross vehicles and vehicles. They would not target them because they would know these are taking aid. So it's a shame that you can have an ambush and you waylay UN vehicles that are taking aid and even kill. Maybe if you wanted foods, but still,
it's
this is something, it's very unfortunate, and this is something that internationally, world over, even various militia groups would rarely attack such vehicles.
Okay. But speaking of armored vehicles, one Robert Chagulanyi, he went to his social media and displayed his armored vehicle that he got. Now the question is, did it go through the right channels? Is it a proxy? Was it done on a local garage? Felix, there's so many garages in Rubaga.
No, they end.
Musa Bode.
There's also
Musa Bode has been able to do a lot
of it. What does it take to do an armored vehicle?
An armored vehicle? An armored vehicle.
Just a certain gas and between the doors and that's it.
Then you put some metals there. But also it can be armored according to whose standards. Well, but it's a bullet to prove if it's armored or not. That is. That's the, so if you can put it to test, you know, I was looking at how they make the beast in US and the making. So there's a point where they fire to prove that really this is an armored vehicle.
Yeah.
But to prove for what? Who's interested?
To prove that not all ammunition can actually go through. Anyway.
Are you interested? I don't think anyone is interested. If
no, it's just an interesting
story. If he got himself an armored SUV, that's good for him and his family. Honestly. He knows the threat against him. That is his business. Ugandans today, we want to win bread for our families and our families and our loved ones. So if Honorable Sentamu got a good armored car, comes for him and the family.
But remember, even MPs had requested for such vehicles. Do you remember sometime back?
Those ones that ever make mention
requested for such vehicles because they felt they were not they felt they were not secure enough.
You should not give them ideas, right?
Honestly, please don't put that in their minds.
It may turn out
that asked for.
No, it will be at your cost, by the way. Why
The
they have
300
asked
million
for it? It
we are
will be at your
giving is
cost.
enough.
They'll have to cut off an entire arm of taxation on you for them to afford that.
But they've already eaten much of us, and we are getting used
That
to
is
them.
what I'm saying precisely. Let them eat what they're eating. That's it.
Speaking about eating, some of you who are just waking up or starting your day, please don't forget to get yourself, hallelujah, ginger tea and tamarind drink. And we will do that in the break as we do wait for our song for the day. And of course, when we come back, we'll be taking you through what's trending, making rounds in news, and probably that would be the petition that was withdrawn. But before that, let's take you into our song for the day, and we'll be sipping on our hallelujah ginger tea and tamarind to kickstart our day. Good morning.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Wake up to Good Morning Uganda, weekdays on UBC.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Was brought to you by
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Day. Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect, nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough,
We also want to thank all those that are stuck on UBC TV. Good morning this lovely morning. Lionel Richie there, 1983, before Priscilla, Felix were born, before many of us were born. But the music still lives on, and every time you listen to such a song, you just feel like it's just happened. I just love the lyrics. That is, I've got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. Guess I am on my way. Song about passion, about love. Felix, I saw you enjoying that song. It was playing, and I never seen Felix get so much.
You've never seen him?
Taken
You've
up by
never
a
seen
song.
him? Do you have a Bible? This man is starting to lie us early in the morning after the scripture. You've never seen him
enjoying it to that level.
You didn't
even
see
close his
Friday.
eyes, and I saw him maybe move to a certain planet where he was going through memories. Who was dedicating that song to? I don't know.
No, but those things were for you. As I've told you, as people were there busy wasting your love, feelings, or whatever on girls, some of us were serious on doing other things. Things like, one, rearing rabbits, rearing chicken, looking for more dog, you know, doing things that were for you there. Yeah, some of us mitima jakolas. So for you,
if he runs, you know, Felix, you have asthma, you can't run.
No, but honestly, the reason why I get so lost in the lyrics of Lionel Richie, he's one of the world's most talented artists, music. I have watched Lionel Richie do productions. He did the production of that All America to Africa, remember that song? We Are the World. He did that production himself. He did the production of Living Large, that project. He did the production of, again, that America to Haiti. He did those classical productions. He has produced over 72 albums. Lionel Richie is classical. Now, when you see him doing a live concert, honestly, you've just had, I want you to compare such production to your
live productions.
These, I don't know how you call them, these karaoke artists or these people who mime in Uganda. Someone mimes their own song.
Yeah, it's rare to have that. Yeah.
And listen, honest, and the beauty is that you read the bit of the lyrics. I'm stuck on you. I've got this feeling that seems just not to go away. You know, he sings, and it's off the album Can't Wait Long. It's 83. The song was produced 1983, Priscilla. How old is that song?
Dear Calvin the entertainer, we have lost and found for you here. Please come for him.
When it comes to all these, you'll fit in that slot.
Horizon Vibes and the likes.
Come on. But I want you to compare, just honestly, listen to that song and compare it to some of the production Priscilla was laughing about here. There's a most recent song called Muyayu.
I don't get that song. And seriously, a person's son and daughter even have the audacity to appear in the video. These are the songs that UCC should be banning.
Don't even say I love that song.
I should.
Felix, you love that song?
But you have just said
no. You know why?
You have just told them
yeah, but I want to tell you why. That statement was Bad Black's statement.
Yes.
If you followed that Ibra's show, Ibra I think has a show called something. But he did an interview with Bad Black, and Bad Black said every family has that black ID. So Nze wafe, Nze aliyo muyayo. Now, what inspired the song when the guy, Madra, the guy is called Madra who sang the song, was singing the song. That's why he kept on saying, I'm the muyayo, I'm the muyayo. But you see, that is art, Priscilla. That is art. You must form beauty and shape out of whatever comes before you. Look at that song of COVID, Tumbiza Sound. Honestly, you've had songs like Valu Valu, scenarios. Bob Wine has a couple of songs. So that is art. It's the beauty of art. However, constructive art is also equally important.
However, do not compare Western art to African art. Also not.
Yeah. No,
yes.
But
it's Good Morning Uganda. No, it's Good Morning Uganda, Felix. Go to Horizon Vibes. That's where you will continue your conversation.
Well, at that note, I'll cut you short and we'll dive into
we have had Ugandan artists
because I know it may take us time. It may take us time. Please, Felix, I'm now in control. I'm now in control.
We saw
Toka Rubya Mutima.
BET.
Toka Rubya Mutima.
Nasa, come and take this one.
Please come and pick this one. I'll call for reinforcement.
Really?
He's a journalist, please note. You take it to court.
But of course, anyway.
Speaking of which,
we are looking at court, and this is an unusual story this morning. Robert Kyagulanyi, after the 14th February presidential elections, where Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Buhabura won with over 58 point something, Robert Kyagulanyi was not satisfied with the outcomes of the elections, and he went to the Supreme Court. But let's first take a look at this story.
On presidential election. On 1st February 2021, the former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu filed a presidential elections petition challenging President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's victory in the 2021 presidential elections. Although Supreme Court justices directed and ordered all parties in the matter on the way to go in filing their submissions, unfortunately the petitioner Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu defied these orders when he filed his evidence after 14th February 2021, contrary to what court directed. Following this, last week Robert Kyagulanyi's legal team, led by counsel Wameli Anthony, filed an application in Supreme Court seeking court leave to file the remaining 200 affidavits in support of his case. However, in the last court session before the panel of 9 justices of the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Alfonso Munyidolo, court declined to admit Robert Kyagulanyi's application.
By a majority of 8 to 1, this court disallows this application.
Following this, Monday morning, the former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu vowed to withdraw his application from the Supreme Court. According to Kyagulanyi, since his affidavits were dismissed by the Honorable Court, there seems no justice to him from court.
And I've just told you that more than 200 of our pieces of evidence have been rejected. Among those were some from our fellow opposition members. Was an affidavit by our Secretary General, was an affidavit by a comrade called Kalundi Serumaga. So for that matter, ladies and gentlemen, for the reasons that we've given above, we have decided to withdraw from their court.
Kyagulanyi, who is yet to instruct his legal team to take action, adds that.
But Kyagulanyi Ssentamu emphasizing that he's now headed for the public court. He's left the Supreme Court because he believes there is a lot of bias there. But just a background, we know in Uganda, when you're not satisfied with the outcomes of the election, there's a provision that you can go and have a petition, then it will be listened to by the judges. Felix, here we see Bobby Wine, Robert Kyagulanyi, aka Bobby Wine, saying the first issue was he was looking at the credibility of His Excellency having been a candidate there. He also now went to the Chief Justice, Alfonso Munyidolo, saying no, there is bias, and other 2 judges. Then he said after the 200 that were, the application was not listened to by the judges, the 9 judges of the Supreme Court. And finally he says, I've directed my lawyers to withdraw the case.
Robert, your namesake. Bob, I guess he's also called Bob. You see, Bob is a short form of most people they call Robert.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that is called Bob Wine. Probably that's the inspiration. But speaking about this case, yesterday I was privileged to have a brief discourse with my colleagues and counsel in regards to this particular move by NUP. First and foremost, I am surprised it is making news. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it, and I'm shocked it is actually making rounds.
You didn't expect it to make news, or you didn't even expect them to have the withdrawal in the first place?
No, the withdrawal was definitely planned. Everything was planned. If you want us to go into that discussion, but everything seems to be planned well, you know, and the purpose probably is for them, or it will be exhibited later as we move on. One, any civilized
country, let me start there. Any civility, form of civility, must be anchored on systems, formidable systems, credible systems. Now, Uganda as a state, the Republic of Uganda, for it to qualify to be a civil state, it must have systems or credible systems. And the major of the same are the executive, that are constitutional, the legislature, and the judiciary. All of them live for the purpose of defining civility of a state. Because if you go to a country and it has the executive without the parliament, it may not be recognized as a civil state. It may not have international recognition or what. You go to a country that has probably the parliament but does no judiciary, because all of them play a part in that. Why I'm giving this background is we need to get to why this may be made news. Now, once you start breaking, this is what I think, if you ask me, that the move of NUP is to simply break the systems of a civil country.
By discrediting them.
Which other way would you do it? That you start with the executive, go through an election, whatever happens, put yourself you have people who are imprisoned, you have basically you provoke the state to get it in a position and maybe you get it there, which is what I think
you get it there. Loopholes there to discredit that.
Exactly,
that level,
which is what probably he did successfully, and he has been riding on that up till today. Now, after that one is done, go to another institution that forms, because you see governance is like 3 cooking stones. You remove one, you can't put a pitchy on one. You need 3. Now once you start breaking, that is what I pick out of whatever these guys are doing, that after you discredit the executive, now go on the judiciary. I want to ask, and for some of you who have bothered to appreciate litigation cases and what has happened between when Kyagulanyi filed and yesterday when you removed the case in the judiciary? Did the principle change any judges?
No.
Did we change? There was anything anew in the setup of the court, in the Supreme Court?
Was anything out of order? No. Was everything within the rule of law?
For you to get the thinking is that you must judge that why did you bother even to go there? Because since you petitioned up till today, nothing has
changed.
So it means there is nothing in the post-petition that has caused or informed your mind.
But the issues you had
this was intended.
Maybe they thought they should be changed, and because they have not been changed, that's why he chooses to withdraw.
Again, you think it as who? Because
that's what
again,
I'm saying. Systems
you don't have the power to do the change, neither does your voice have the power to do the change.
Because he says, just to chip in a bit, he says that the concerns he raised, and he thought court would there act accordingly. One says, in any case, if I fail, maybe a judge in my case will not deliver justice. We saw Jamiru Mukuru when he came out and said, this judge is this and that, so I'll need another judge. That is one. He looked at it. He looks at the 200 affidavits he had brought, which also are not. The application was dismissed. So these are some of the things he looks at and says, these are signs that at the end of the tunnel, I won't get light.
Again, all of which were decided on the way they were decided on. All things were unchanged for the way they are in the governance of law. There's nothing outside the law that, even when we look at the affidavits that he was trying to bring in, the evidence that he was trying to bring in, there is still a rule of law that does give the power to court, to accept or not to accept. The reason why
I was trying to bring it from that far, for us to also give shape that, away from the corridor talk, cheap talk, this veranda talk, street talk, I want us to get into a more founded discussion. And that's why I was giving you a scenario that I want you to tell me that what has changed since the day the petition was put in up till the date was withdrawn. Have you seen alteration of judges? Has the Judicial Service Commission come out to say justice when you do? You get the point. That means that this motive was anchored by the petitioner even prior to petitioning. He knew that I would do this, I would petition court and withdraw the case. Again, discrediting institutions. That is what, and this is my opinion, that I'm going to go institution by institution to try and discredit that none of them is functioning. And I can predict the same will happen to parliament. You will see a swarm of members of parliament from a particular party cause a lot of stampeding about the credibility of some activity that will happen in parliament, because it must happen amongst the three institutions which run governance. If you want me to talk about this petition legally, the petitioner has a right to withdraw. You see, court in civil matters,
and that is why it shouldn't be a big deal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it is
it's open door.
Yeah,
it's walk in, walk out. It is up to you. Secondly, and it's very painful that even my colleagues, and this I say as a litigant, as a person who subscribes from the profession, that why would you have to hold a press conference to announce a withdrawal of a matter?
The ideal thing would have been have your lawyers, instruct your lawyers, go through the paperwork, and then inform us when it is official.
Actually, even up till yesterday evening, court has not received a withdrawal notice from council.
It's directed. But court hasn't. And that's what I'm saying.
His words hold nothing.
For now.
They have no water. Yes.
You get it? If because you know the process of petitioning, you know the process of withdrawing. Note, a presidential election petition is only heard in the Supreme Court of Uganda, and it's the only court that has direct jurisdiction to listen to that case. But nevertheless also put in latter that this case is proved on a probation of probabilities. It's on a balance of probabilities. You get the point? Now, that means that he who alleges must prove. That is where the problem is.
That they cannot prove.
It is not enough for you to come and say, Che Museveni stole my... It is not enough.
You do not
have to prove.
On a balance of probabilities. Now, it means that he who forms the allegation later on conclusively brings the proof to the same. Now, you must come to court with vivid and same of. Maybe they did not have that. Now, no wonder Honorable Senator Muchagulani is saying that my evidence was refused. I don't know if Chirabo today, if he walked here.
But you see, even if it was refused, what was entered by the deadline is what was going to be petitioned. And FYI, even if the court doesn't respond, tomorrow are they not going to have the hearing?
They definitely.
Process continues.
But you see, here's a problem. There's what we normally use in law that you please don't take court to a fishing expedition. You see, we can do our drama, but there are institutions we must live with there, and the painful sudden beat here is that I'm looking at a lot of lawyers, and they just can't advise the principal. That's fine. I think politics has to stop somewhere. Because they earn from it. They live to litigate. They live to lawyer. And I'm not going to give names. And most of them, I know them. You must have a point where you tell the principal. Yes. That look here. Because even, and I know for a fact, that's why you didn't see along besides him. Were the lawyers besides him when he was announcing? Because they know the implication. Where were they? Why weren't there the lawyers besides him flanking him? Because they are normally there. I wanted to see Council Segona, they were made behind, as he says, why weren't they there? They know the implication. At the end of the day, when the politics is done, those are the corridors they run to have winning bread for themselves. For me, I think it's unfortunate to take institutional, to try and cause institutions, because, for example, they have come allegations, they have attacked the Chief Justice. I don't know when it was a crime for someone to be a lawyer for President Museveni. I don't know.
But he's not a lawyer for President Museveni.
No, he used to be.
Okay, yeah, he used to. That's the point. He used to be.
That's the
but
thing.
Now the office he holds is for Uganda, not one person.
That's the thing. I think all of us have journeys we have moved. Because if you talk about journeys, we can also talk about individuals in New or whatever. We can talk about them. And we have time and again told people, don't talk about Chagulanyi's past.
You are citing conflict of interest.
That's the thing. And now, when you ask court, when you ask a judge to excuse themselves of a matter, it is on their discretion. Yeah. If they feel that will not hinder their attribution towards justice in that matter, they will not. We have as many cases as you can. I can give you how many precedents where justices have not. And starting from the US down, you go to, and I have locus classicus even in India. There's a locus classicus in California. Go to South Africa in the matter of right to health. You know, you got all of this. It is not conclusive. It is wrong, and let me say this lastly, Robert. It is wrong for individuals to always feel deserving. And that is a character we must not teach our children.
Yes.
We cannot always think that it has to be me. It was me. It has to be me. It was me. If it's not me, it's no one else. That is wrong. As much as you want to seek justice, someone else also deserves justice. Not saying everything that happened is okay, we can go with it, but there are matters we shouldn't be politicking about. Let's not bring the judiciary into this cheap politics of ours, because tomorrow, when they steal your car, you're going to go there for? When you want to report probably someone who was, and most of them are in court. Why are you in court if the principal is saying the court is discreditable? You get out all of your matters. You get the point. The journalist yesterday went to court. You're killing the institution, yet it is doing a good job, if not for you, but for other people.
And it's not you to determine the good job. It is the law to determine the good job. After all, that's why we have it. But then the question begs, what next? Of course, the lawyers have to go and petition. I mean, put in a withdrawal. File a withdrawal for that matter. However, they were given up to tomorrow. By tomorrow, that should have been done. Otherwise, business is going to go on as usual, and petition is going to be starting to be had.
There are costs. Something that we must be smart about.
Those will be some of the conditions that will be discussed for the
I mean, if they can afford an armored car, surely, that is money. It can be given.
And the principal is not scared about the financial implications. He said we've paid with the lives of people. So what do you mean in terms of money?
But now there's the other twist to it, that while it's up for withdrawal, there's that part where a candidate in the race that they're talking about, the 2021 presidential race, any other candidate can pick it up and continue with it. Yeah.
If
that would have been likely FDC, but given the margins by which they won, they don't have much.
But also FDC,
they came out right out.
Was very clear. He said, we advised the NOP not to waste time going to court, according to Semu Uganda, because we've been there 2 times
from their
and know the outcome. So that would then make it clear that no one would. But I'm looking at the aftermath. Felix, you've given us a very broad picture of that. Now there is... you see, I said earlier at the opening of this show that Colonel Mama Gaddafi said one of Africa's problems are these elections. Chagulanyi moves out of court, then says, I now throw it to the public. I think time has come. Public court. Public court. What do you understand by public court, Priscilla?
I don't have any understanding of public court. I'm not Robert Chagulanyi.
Do you understand? What comes to your mind when it goes to public court?
Me, I want to. There is no interior motive in the public. Let's go to grammatical definition. What is the public? What is a court? You're simply telling people. You
say.
You get it. Now, one would say that is insightful. Look at it from that angle. But also, you must have a position. That is just my opinion as any kind of leader. You must have a position. What is your position? You see, when you are a leader, I'll take an analogy of a home. We look up to you for direction. When you come back home, it is time. Now government has announced people are going back to school, and then you started. But you sit there and you're telling kids do what? With what? Which schools? We have been home for 1 year. Some direction. You don't say I'm putting it to the public. I find that general. I find it. But let me tell you. But let me tell you. Just finally, you tell your kids, look here, Chirabo. Okay, tugenda kukyusa, we are going to change the school because ite tukyasobola go genda kudda wano. Priscilla, I think gwe engeri gy'okyali mu nasale tebanaba kubagulawo, so let's buy for you more work at home. So your mother, please come back a bit early. Direction as leader. You don't just tell people, because now that for people who are, I'm looking at people who are supporting Honorable Chagulanyi or who love the NOP, are now homeless. They don't know what's next. Because they don't know if they should pick up forks and spoons and go to the street with there and start banging pitches. So they're in a place of, they don't know what's happening because the principal is telling them. And yesterday I was very keen to listen to what Honorable was saying. He kept on saying, there's no justice. He wasn't breaking down what the problem was. Honestly, he kept on saying,
what it simply means that should this petition withdrawal be accepted by court and court takes leave on the matter, that means that the candidate that was elected conclusively is the president-elect officially, and we wait. In 2 months' time, he'll be sworn in as the president of Uganda, and now business can actually start to go on as normal. That's what it simply means. So well, it's a win-win situation, by the way.
It's a win-win situation, but that is also legitimizing the victory of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, since there won't be any court case there. And to the public, all we can urge is remain calm.
Maybe it's changed.
Remain calm. This is just reminding you of the words of People's President. I don't know what you meant and what he did there. But anyway, time is not our best ally. When we return, we'll be looking at some of the stories that are trending in the print media.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Buyogera nyaffe Uganda ku Radio Africa tolemwa kumwenya olw'akamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye, kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu bwe buwoomyo buva mu kyokunywa ekya Hallelujah Jingatte Drink ne Hallelujah Tamarind Drink, eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa kirimu omubisi gw'enkooge. Hallelujah Tamarind Drink ne Hallelujah Jingatte Drink bikolebwa ba Hallelujah Reflexology Healthy Solution and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Weefunira ekyokunywa kya Hallelujah leero okuva ku maduuka wonna. Bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Wherever you are, we are saying thank you so much for keeping it on UBC TV, and it is Good Morning Uganda. Every weekday from 6:30 till the hour of 9, we're here, the big team, ready to spice up your morning, because we always have so much for you that is very vital as you start your day. Right from knowing some of the stories that happened locally, internationally, into a newsreel story, and then press review where we give you a hint of some of the stories in the dailies, I and Priscilla, to ensure that you're a knowledgeable person, even if you've not yet gotten the papers, but also to serve you better, you know, hitting people's bumpers, causing jam there. And let's kickstart it with Priscilla and the Daily Monitor.
In the Daily Monitor today, we get to look at the 23rd of February 2021, and starting from the top, you look at Prosper that is within the paper, and it's talking about, is Uganda ready for cryptocurrency revolution? That is on page 20. So in case you have even been a victim of cryptocurrency, read about more details of it in Prosper. Rainbow is bringing you your letters, coloring, birthday messages, puzzles, and more for your child that is with you at home. This can keep them engaging. But Truth Every Day is giving you the hard conversation for the day. Inside story of case withdrawal. They're looking at public politicians react to the move. Government lawyers respond to withdrawal. NUP members were divided on petition. What does court of public opinion mean? We are here to find out. On page 7, you look at Museveni in a circle got COVID jabs. US paper is stating that. You also look at President agrees to lift DGF ban, and the Lizard is commenting on the jabs story in a circle. Maybe they are testing on behalf of Ugandans. Very interesting. But elsewhere, we look at police refuse to release list of abducted people. Alarm as Lake Victoria waters level rise again.
The New Vision, we look at a big headline there, what petition withdrawal means for Kyagulanyi. That is the New Vision. Electoral Commission, Museveni lawyers respond. What does this mean? Then up there is how KCCA plans to improve road users' experience. In the education sector, Senior 2 work is inside. Past A-level chemistry, mathematics, entrepreneurship. Look at tomorrow for O-level and geography there. Then on a sad note, Italian ambassador killed in DRC. Still, the New Vision brings you drama as student presumed dead resurfaces. And on budget issues, finance issues, 40 trillion budget circular, and MPs ask ministry to account for 2.18 billion Uganda shillings there.
In the News for Daily Guide, we get to look at security arrest singer with 48 passports. You also get to look at KCCA ordering 700 employees to reapply. Of course, this is following a story that came through last week of ghost employees and some receiving double salaries. From the archives today, we get to look at section of the Republic Street in Mbale town. The year was 2000 in January 29. Mbale has since evolved into a business hub and is among the towns that were elevated to city status last year. So kudos to the people of Mbale. Today in history, Semwogedede calls for crime reports. The year was 1985, and the President for DP at the time asked Ugandans to keep black books to record whoever brutalized them under President Milton Obote's regime for further prosecution. Then we also get to look at Uganda's first white clover flower. But Editor Speak is looking at Prosper emerging technologies such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robots, and so forth. You're a tech person, this is a good read for you. In the world, Editor Speak is looking at the United States, yes, on Sunday, recording more than 500,000 COVID-related deaths since the start of the pandemic. How are they managing? Well, get to find out in the Daily Monitor.
And a build up to Women's Day that is on the 8th of March. The New Vision brings you women hustlers, ladies that are doing all it takes to make ends meet. And there we have Margaret Narukundo, a farmer in Kamwenge district, and also here shelling groundnuts in preparation for planting. She has been farming for more than 30 years, and it is her source of income. That is one of the women hustlers. Then know your member of parliament, where they have brought Christine Kaya, that is a Chiboga woman member of parliament. There is David Muhumuza, Mwenje North MP, also Naboth, that is Naboth Namanya, Rubabo County in Rukunjiri district. Today in history, it was on this very day, on this very date, February February 23rd, 2007, when Uganda signed a memorandum of understanding with the African Union about the deployment of Uganda People's Defense Forces in Somalia. It spelled out the details of the peacekeeping mission that was signed in Addis Ababa. Uganda was represented by the Defense Minister, by then Dr. Crispus Chiyonga. Still on this very date in 1990, there we see the Fascist Party was formed in Italy by Benito Mussolini on this day in history. He was one of the main leaders of the Axis power during World War II. On COVID updates, just to remind you, please perfect those drills and not be part of these statistics. Today we look at the death toll, where Uganda we've so far registered 333 persons have succumbed to COVID-19. Rwanda, 249 have died of COVID-19. Kenya has 1,823 that have lost lives due to COVID-19, and South Sudan has 86 persons that have died due to COVID-19. Countries worst hit, we have the USA still leading, followed by India, Brazil, Russia, and the United Kingdom.
Today's Daily Sport is bringing you UEFA Champions League. You have Haddad Bayern seeking a quick fix. You get to look at the fixtures inside. You look at Hippos Det Burkinabe in the quarter-finals for the 2021 AFCON Under-20. You also get to look at the Uganda Premier League match build. Match day 9 is on. Villa Express and KCCA are facing tricky away games. But also, cricket cranes are getting a taste of the swing, and they are in camp right now. 27 players in camp. If you are an interest fanatic, cricket fanatic, you definitely want to read about this story.
In the New Vision Sports, we see that is Chelsea versing the team there. Then also motocross, young lads here that are doing it in motocross, and a winner there, Sekama, won all 3 hits in the 5cc category there, and they're giving some of the champions there, the young boys are doing it very well when it comes to motocross, who have also earned themselves world recognition there. Then who knows, that is in an ideal world, Uganda Silverbacks have qualified for the Afro Basket, that is 2021. Well, those are some of the stories that were in the dailies today. In case you've not come across them, or in case you will later have the papers, that's a hint of some of the stories. But when we return, Priscilla will be assuring that she gives you more information on how best to get to your destination. But also remember, please plan your journey ahead of time so that you avoid rushing that could end you into bumping into people's bumpers and causing accidents because you're in panic. Plan your movements better because we know you have jam.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Day. Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect, nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion and many more, and certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health. Hallelujah Day.
Welcome to English in a Minute, from home. If someone told you to get out of town, would you really have to go anywhere?
Anna, I know we've both always lived in apartments, but last week, I finally bought a house.
Get out of town, you didn't.
I sure did. And it's right down the street from my favorite pizza restaurant.
Oh, pizza. Maybe I should think about buying a house.
You can say, get out of town, when you're surprised or find it hard to believe something someone said. It has the same meaning as phrases like, "Get out of here," "You're kidding," or "No way." And that's English in a minute.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, bino bye biruma bayaye. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Just a traffic reminder, green does mean go, orange does mean pause and get ready to either go or stop, and red means simply stop. If you go past those, especially for you who love to, go against the traffic lights at night, someday you might end up on the wrong side of the law and perhaps might even end up in court. For you, it will not be a withdrawal. You will be convicted of disobedience of the laws of traffic. It is Good Morning Uganda. Priscilla Daloga looking at the traffic updates this morning. Now, we have been told that 17.2 kilometer northern bypass route is about to be completed as of June 2021 is the commitment UNRA is giving us. And so we want to look at the areas that are around the Kampala northern bypass this morning. You do have Mulago, you have Kamocha, you do have Bukoto, you do have Chebando. Now, as you can see, areas in Chebando this morning do have some jam that is picking up from the back routes that either get the residents onto the main road, which would be Gayaza Kampala Road, and also maybe people who are using the Chebando Ring Road as an alternative to get away from the Gayaza Kampala Road jam, to be able to get into Kampala maybe through the areas of Mulago at the back of Chebando. And so that is why you're seeing a little bit of a jam, red zones in the area of Chebando. We get to look at Kampala northern bypass and surrounding areas. In the areas of Kamocha, you definitely get to see that around Acacia Mall and the dip of Kamocha. Of course, at Acacia Mall, you will definitely have this jam this morning because everyone is trying to access this side. There's so many offices en route at Acacia Mall, Acacia Road, and the likes. And so they definitely do explain the jam here because this is a cross junction. Even if it is small, it has a very little roundabout. I don't know what the initial intention of the white man was, but many years down the road, about 50 plus, we still have that little roundabout. What is it still doing there? Anyway, that is something for KCCA to think about because that is concerning KCCA and planning. We get to look at the rest of Kamocha this morning around the Kira Road. You look at Chisementi, you do have Moyo Close that does give you the connection to Chebando and to the Kampala northern bypass. Now, this connection is having traffic jam because, again, people are using it as an alternative to get into the heart of the city. So majorly people who are from Gayaza will connect through Chebando to Salo, and then they'll use Moyo Close to get into maybe Bukoto, and then will end up in Kamocha, and then they end up in Mulago. Alternatively, they also use the Acacia route to be able to get into the heart of the city. So that's one way of avoiding the jam. The other alternative you would have if you are wanting to maybe to get to the places of Chisasi and the likes, Chanja, you don't have to use the main routes. You can actually go through Chebando, connect to Mukalazi Road. It's going to connect you to the Bukoto Chisasi Road, and you can be able to go away into Chisota zone and avoid the badness that happens on the main routes of Kira Road. But looking at Bukoto Ntinda Strait this morning around Bukenya zone, the Bukoto Ntinda Strait overall does look clear, a route for you to use up until you get to the trading center in Ntinda. Now, in Ntinda Trading Center, there is jam red zones from the connection of Chigobe Road. Chigobe Road is the area that covers mainly Minister's Village, and so many people, many residentials actually, there's so many apartments coming up in this area, and so people are moving from their homes and trying to connect to Ntinda, Bukoto, or Ntinda all the way into Nakawa, which explains this jam here that you're seeing. Also, you do have the jam that is coming in from Chigobe. You do have a very interesting connection here. This big connection also does contribute to the jam because it only allows room for one car per each road. One car from Old Kiro Road, one car from Chigobe Road. And so people usually try to make it 2 lanes, 3 lanes, and hence it builds up jam. On the other side, you do have a taxi stage there that is contributing to how the jam is looking like, and you can see it's a small area, so it's nothing for you to fret about. But looking at the areas that eventually will connect you to the Kampala Northern Bypass, you do have Old Kira Road. It does have that connection to Ntinda Chigowa Road. Now, this Ntinda Chigowa Road is one that is actually currently being used for diversion because of the Chisasi roundabout is under construction or renovation or upgrading, for that matter, whatever language uses. And so you can use Ntinda Chigowa Road to be able to connect away from the madness of Ntinda and get into the localities of Chiwatule, Nalia, or for that matter, you're getting into Nigeria. Now, looking in the area of Chiwatule this morning, which overpasses the Kampala Northern Bypass, surprisingly, you do have a lot of traffic jam coming from Chiwatule, Nigeria, Chiwatule. All these are residentials, and these are young corporates, these are young people, they have cars, everyone is driving, so obviously everyone wants to look nice in their SC, windows are up, and they're trying to listen to a morning show, Good Morning Uganda. It's okay, but that is, the interpretation of that is what we're seeing on the road this morning, a very long red line all the way to the overpass for the Kampala Northern Bypass. And so if you are coming from these areas, you might want to consider an alternative route away from this traffic jam if time is against you. Looking into Nalia, that eventually will connect back to the Kampala Northern Bypass, which is also currently under construction. So there is diversionary routes that have been given and guided by UNRA to be able to access Nalia. And so that access route here, we do have that sharp corner when you're getting from Chiwatule Road into Nalia Road, where you do have Sin Bell Supermarket on one end. It's a very sharp corner, and so cars have to take it slowly. But also the traffic coming in from Nalia is taking it slowly, and it is building it up and connecting it with the traffic coming in from Chiwatule, joining Old Kira Road. The advantage is that Old Kira Road all the way back into Ntinda is clear, but then you still have to face the jam again in Ntinda. That is how it's looking like. For the diversionary routes there, if you do have Google Maps, it can actually guide you on how you can maneuver your way away from these areas. So basically, that is what the traffic is looking like. You look at Mbogo Road also into Nigeria is having a little bit of jam build up simply because of the route. These days it's actually a bit of building potholes of sorts, but also you get to look at the rest of Mbogo Road, which brings you into Kira Town. Kira Town overall does not have any jam that is building up for it. From the trading center, you don't have any jam that is being depicted. You don't have any jam coming in from Kasanga to Namgongo. Alternatively, if anything, people are using this route to connect to Gayaza Kampala Road. That is how it's looking like. So may that guide you into how you're going to be moving today as you maneuver on the roads of Kampala. But remember, you must get your car checked because the city center is under a lot of construction, and in one of these days your car just made fault. You might want to have that looked at. Even if you're hearing just a little just go and get it checked out, because it may end someone's life. It may get someone's leg cut off simply because of you not wanting to spend an extra dime. Otherwise, follow Good Morning Uganda today's edition. We are streaming live on Facebook, which is UBC TV, and then on Twitter, be a part of the conversations at UBC TV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCGMU. We are also streaming on our YouTube channel, which is UBC Television Uganda. Stay with us. We get to look deeper into the possibilities of this petition withdrawal with Robert Chirevo on Good Morning Uganda agenda.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
bw'oyogera nyaffe Uganda ekkula lya Afrika tolemwa kumwenya olw'akamwenyumwenyu akajjudde abanywanyi. Embeera y'obudde yatukolako mukwano n'obutonde obutubeezaawo ne butusobozesa buli omu okubeerawo mu ngeri ye kuba ffenna tuli banjawulo ne mu ngeri gye tukwasaganyamu emirimu gyaffe. Naye ekitugatta ne tufuuka omuntu omu bwe buwoomyo buva mu kyokunywa ekyaleeruya jingatte drink n'aleeruya tamarin drink eddekende erikumala ennyonta ate nga wejjanjaba omubiri gwo. Ekyokunywa kino kye kitegeera emibiri gyaffe kuba kya butonde 100 ku 100. Woomerwa ekyokunywa kirimu omubisi gw'enkooge aleeruya tamarin drink n'aleeruya jingatte drink bikolebwa ba aleeruya reflexology healthy solution and nutritional research center limited. Weefunira ekyokunywa kya aleeruya leero na bakubire ku noti 393 24 15 66.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Previously in Africa, we had traditional or cultural leaders, and elective politics was not a thing for us. We knew monarchies, we knew kings where leadership was based on inheritance, something like that. Then came an animal called democracy. This brought in elections where the winner takes it all. And what happened in Uganda, it is not the first time we've had elections, a couple of times, since 1995 after the Constitutional Assembly. But one of the factors that came in were elections, and so far about 4 of our elections have ended with election petitions to the Supreme Council. In Africa, we've only seen 2 countries, that is Malawi, where a court nullified an election that was held on May 2019. The other was Kenya in 2007. Now for this time in Uganda, after the elections we held on the 14th of Feb, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, one of the people in this race, sought redress in court. He filed a petition in the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, this time around, history has been made. History has changed. The previous 3, 2 by Kizza Besigye, then Amama Mbabazi, all the court process was brought to a conclusion. Robert Kyagulanyi yesterday during a press conference broke the news that he has decided to withdraw his petition from the Supreme Court and directed his lawyers to do so. With me in studios this morning, I have Karule Ahmed Mokasa, who is a member of the NRM legal team that is representing His Excellency in this case. Counsel, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chirago, and it's good for me to be here on UBC this morning. I am glad that we'll have some time with you to discuss these very important developments in the case that the Honorable Kyagulanyi filed just a couple of weeks ago.
Very interesting issues in our political scene here. But let's first understand, what is an election petition? Just to begin with that.
Yeah, you see, in our constitutional framework, Mr. Chirago, when a person is dissatisfied with the result of an election, in this case, a presidential election petition, the law gives him the opportunity, the chance, to go and place his grievances before the Supreme Court. I must be clear, before the Supreme Court only. You may be aware that the Ugandan court system is structured into many different layers. But when it comes to a presidential election petition, the only court that the law allows to hear such a matter, and the final court at it, is the Supreme Court of Uganda. So there is an opportunity, there is a chance for somebody who might be unhappy with the result of an election, as the Honorable Kyagulanyi was in this case, to walk to the Supreme Court with all manner of grievances provided for in the law, because you see, it's not an open-ended case of anything that you want. The law specifies grounds on which you can walk to the Supreme Court and complain that the result of an election brought about somebody who was not validly elected. That is what he did way back in February. Now, when he filed this petition, the Supreme Court is given by the Constitution 45 days to hear and determine this matter. That's why you might have seen along the way judges were telling him, we have time constraints. This time of 45 days cannot be enlarged. The Supreme Court is clear, the Constitution is clear. You have 45 days, you Supreme Court, from the time when the petition is filed to the time when you give the country a decision, 45 days. So within this time, the Supreme Court, Honorable Kyagulanyi, the respondents must tell the country whether it is time to move on with regard to the election. So that's what he went about with. Good step for him, because that is the legal path that any aggrieved candidate in a civilized democracy should take, instead of going to the streets and here plan Bs and what, all sorts of manner of violence. The civilized thing to do is what he had done. Go to court, tell the country what you think your grievances are, and the court will hear you and give you an answer in 45 days. That personally had loaded him for it. I don't know what brought about this sudden change of heart. I have had a couple of reasons here and there. But from the lawyering perspective, I'll tell you that I do not know any reason why he removed why he thinks he should withdraw his petition from court, unless I have seen the application to withdraw the petition from the court. But as of now, the petition is still there. The petition is still standing.
Is that up to tomorrow?
And we don't know when he will file the application to withdraw it, because as we will go through the course of the discussion, I'll let you know how to get the petition out of court. But for now, the petition still stands in court. The petition is still with us until we see a notice of formal withdrawal from the court, because it is not something that you walk to UBC studio and say, I have withdrawn my case. That's not how things happen. So as of now, the petition is still in court. We don't know the reasons why he has changed heart from a clear, democratic, legal and peaceful path to what a public opinion that he thinks he wants to go to.
Let's look at the process of withdrawing this petition. Here, we know Ugandans are so interested. Some are even saying, can court deny him the withdrawal? So let's look at the procedure.
Well, first of all, I think I must tell the viewers that the court or the respondents cannot force somebody to keep in court a case that he doesn't want. That is part of our usual court process. If you feel that you don't want to be in court anymore, and it's your case, time and again, I think all our laws give you the opportunity, give you the chance to walk out, if you like. So, for starters, nobody is going to, I believe, nobody is going to want to keep Honorable Kyagulanyi in court against his will. However, you also do not, like I said, wake up one day, call a press conference and say, I've withdrawn my case is gone. Robert, this is a very serious matter. A presidential election petition, unlike all the rest of our cases, to do with our land matters, to do with our commercial disputes, to do with our family disputes. A presidential election petition is a very serious matter. Serious in the sense that it determines so many things of our path, of our democratic path as a country. So you do not just wake up, go to a press conference and tell people I've withdrawn my case and that's it. No. The law, as I've said, gives you the opportunity to walk out. What happens is that you then tell the court and ask for its permission formally. Ask for its permission formally. And I'll tell you that this is where I found the conduct of Honorable Kyagulanyi and his lawyers in the conduct of this matter a bit funny. One day he says, those judges are biased. I want this one and this one and the other one to get out of the...
He points out three that he feels they will not deliver. There's conflict of interest and therefore cannot deliver justice to him.
But that's where he stops. That's where he stops. He doesn't want to follow through procedure. You don't go to TV and say, I don't want Justice Karule, Justice Robert, Justice Musa to get out of my case. His lawyers know exactly what to do. And I have not seen them do that. He stopped at a press conference and said that the judge so-and-so should not be in my case. He did not file an application in court to tell the judges that I don't want you to be in my case because of ABCD reasons. These reasons are given to the court. These reasons are given to the judges. They're not given to the public. It's in a press conference. Equally, when you're going to withdraw a presidential election petition, you don't stop at a press conference. Like I said, a presidential election petition is a matter of...
Maybe, Counsel, let me get you right. Yes. I know in law that you lawyers advise your clients at every stage.
Yes.
Where your lawyer will tell you, Chidabo will either settle this out of court, because when we continue, we must lose it.
Yes.
So, do you think Honorable Kyagulanyi is not properly advised by his legal team?
I'll be honest, without appearing to attack my colleagues professionally, but as a lawyer, I was not very impressed by the way the lawyers were conducting this matter. It looked to be haphazard. If you know your client does not want a certain team of judges, for whatever reasons that you have, to be on the panel of the court, you know what to do. The law is there. I'm sure if the Honorable Kyagulanyi is serious about withdrawing this petition, they know what to do. The law is there. And you have to explain to the court why you want to withdraw the matter of such great national importance. So I am not too happy personally or impressed about my friends, some of them are really close friends, how they've been handling this matter and advising their client. Even, by the way, just him going on national TV and saying things about judges, appearing to intimidate them, appearing to be scaring them with all sorts of plans. When a case is going on in court, as a lawyer, you have a duty to educate the client, to inform them that certain things must be kept out of the public dominion until the case is heard and settled.
Even character of your principal.
Absolutely.
I've seen cases where a lawyer says at this statutory time, do not even go to the bar until the case is dealt with. Do not go to such a place. Do not speak this. Do not appear here until the case has been dissolved.
Absolutely. So, and that's what their lordships were telling the Honorable Sabuna the other time. Say, please speak to your client. If the matter is here, and he has entrusted it with it. And then you don't go to the media and begin saying this one, the other one is biased, the other one I don't know who, what. That's not the normal way of doing things. So I hope that they will have occasion this time round on the issue of withdrawal to advise him on what to do and absolutely how to do it.
Let's look at your camp. You're among the team of 40 lawyers that are representing NRM in this very presidential electoral petition. What does this mean to your camp?
For us, in the NRM legal camp, we are both happy and unhappy. We are happy because after almost a full month of no sleeping, we are going to have some sleep. We are happy because the stumbling block in our candidate's victory is removed.
Because
that is if they go on to actually withdraw the petition in accordance with the law. Then the stumbling block ahead of
because this will then legitimize the victory of your candidate.
Absolutely, and legitimize it in a cowardly way, cowardly from the other side. They chickened out of the battle. So the point is anyway that that removes the stumbling block that was in the way of our client going on to become the president. But we are also sad because a couple of reasons. One, we had prepared. We were prepared to show the country that this is not a petition that was worth the name. Honorable Kyagulanyi has said many times that he's going to go to the court of public opinion and give them all the evidence and what. It is easy to speak about that issue in a public arena. But when we come to the legal arena, and it's affidavit on affidavit, it is law on the law, then his whole petition crumbles. I'm sure that when he saw when he read the affidavits that were served in response to his case, that's what must have given him a running tummy to run out to chicken out of the case. Because I'll tell you, having read his case and his affidavits and what we filed in response to all of these lousy allegations, he had no chance. Absolutely no chance. But the most important thing that we missed on our side, if they go ahead and remove the provision, that is that we were prepared to demonstrate to the country, we are prepared to demonstrate to the nation that this man is saying nothing. This man, he did not have a worthy case. All his allegations were hollow. They were empty. In fact, we had replied to him and told him that majority of your affidavits, people who signed them, are forged. We had reached that level because we had cross-checked with people's identities, with NIRA and the people who signed the affidavits. And we found almost 20 of them forged. This is what we are going to demonstrate to the court, and the public would have known. So this is a chance that we missed, because when a losing candidate goes and says a lot of things in the public arena, people might actually believe these things. But the chance we lost was to tell the country that your man, your Plan B man, your rubber-dubber boy, had nothing in substance in the petition, because that's what it was. There was nothing. It was hollow. It was empty. I don't know what he had in the rest of the affidavits that he wanted to present, but those that we looked at and responded to, zero.
Let's look at some of the reasons that Kyagulanyi Ssentamu gave yesterday as he pushed for withdrawal of his petition. First and foremost, he says his affidavits, the 200 were denied, yet in a previous case by Amama Mbabazi, these were accepted respective of the time constraints. That is one of the issues he points out. Second, he looks at the judges and he says 3 of them were biased, there was conflict of interest, and they will not in any way deliver justice.
Robert, these things are easy to say. Like I said, when you are in a public arena, they are harder when you're in court. You see, politicians have a very wide platform to say a whole lot of things that they want. But when it gets to proving, for example, how Judge A or Judge B is biased, it becomes a pretty hard job. Why? Because you have no reason to say that he's biased. You see, when judges are appointed and they assume the office of judge at any level of our court system, they take oath. They take judicial oath to serve us fairly. This is an oath that they live with, irrespective of their backgrounds. So you would have had to come to the court and demonstrate that despite that oath, you'll be unfair, and you give reasons. He did not have these reasons. That's why I'm telling you that it was harder to come to the court and say these things.
It was easy to say, Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo, you are once the president's lawyer, absolutely, and this is so you cannot deliver justice. Absolutely. But that was hard to prove. In court. It was hard to prove in court and demonstrate that for that alleged background or reason, the judge will not be fair. Okay? You were saying Justice Ezekiel Muhammad is a relative of General Tumwine. How is, you have to demonstrate how that will, I don't know about the relation, but you'd have to demonstrate how that will feed into the case. General Tumwine is not a respondent. He's not part of the case. The respondent is General Museveni. The respondent is the Electoral Commission, also is the Attorney General. So how is the relationship of General Tumwine with one of the judges? So do say he was trying to be picky.
Who is not a relative of who in this country? Everybody is a relative of the other. Everybody is a friend of the other. But what is critical is that once a judicial officer takes an oath, without verifiable conduct that you can impute on him to say that he's unfair, it means a hollow allegation. Now, on the issue of affidavits, I don't think he has a valid reason on that as well. Because, you see, the law allows him 15 days to file a petition. In my own view, before you even think about filing a petition, you should have evidence. You see, you don't file a petition and begin looking around for evidence. in my view, before you say that the first respondent, Yoweri Museveni, was not validly elected, you have to have evidence. Otherwise, I don't imagine that you wake up one day, think about a case.
These are the time factor in this.
Think about it. I'll get to that. Think about a case and then run to court and say, then, oh, my lords, give me time. I look for evidence. Then why did you file the petition in the first case, in the first place? But after the 15 days, this petition was filed on 1st February, by the way. The court first sat on 11th February. That's another 11 days. During this time, the Honorable Kyagulanyi had all the opportunity to present his affidavit evidence, and he didn't. When he came to the court on the 11th, when his lawyer came to the court on the 11th, he told their lordships that he had 50 affidavits that day to file. In fact, he had none. He said that day he would file 50.
On the 11th, he said he had?
Yes, he said he had 50, and that he would file 50 in the course of the next 1 or 2 days. In fact, he had none. He was added 4 more days. This is 14 days, okay, to present all manner of evidence that he wanted, okay? I'd like to remind you that this is a case which must be heard and determined in 45 days. Out of that, he has had 14 to file his evidence.
So from the 1st of February,
he was free.
45 days to this case to be done and dusted.
Yes, he was free within those 14 days to file all manner of evidence that he wanted. And he didn't. When he files a petition, the respondent has 3 days to respond. Only 3 days. And that's what we did. When the court gave a schedule, it gave us only 6 days to reply. So this is 9, again, this is what? This is, yes, 8, again it's 14. You see, I had his lawyer say the other day that, my lords, I'm working in all sorts of difficulties. We all work with these difficulties. Honorable Kyagulanyi served us with a pile of 53 affidavits, all 3 respondents. And we responded by nearly 300 affidavits, which we had to come up in a space of 6 days. It's not easy. His petition is such that it was all over the country. He made an allegation in almost every part of the country. You see, he would say, a DPC here tear gassed me, a DPC here slapped me, a DPC in the entire country. And these are the affidavits he gave us. He had the opportunity to mention one person, the DPC. In response, I would need 4 people to cover these allegations. So it was not easy on our side. So the court told him when he came to apply for more time. So he said, no, you have had enough time. You see, Honorable Kyagulanyi keeps talking about fairness and justice, and he needs justice and fairness is not one way.
And also bring a precedent, because in law, I'm aware that a precedent can reign over another
yes,
case.
But you see,
so he brought in precedent.
No, precedent can be used as a point of reference, but circumstances may differ.
Okay.
In the Kyagulanyi case, rather in the Mambaba's case in 2016, which I also had the occasion to take part of, the Honorable Mambabazi filed evidence in the fashion I told you. He continued filing evidence. He didn't, I don't know what the Honorable Kyagulanyi were doing in waiting to bundle up evidence and bring it at once. These 14 days, you could bring 20 affidavits, 10 affidavits, 30 affidavits, 50 affidavits, keep filing. That's what Honorable Mambabazi did. That's why it was easy. If you accepted evidence beyond the time, say, oh, this man has been filing. This man has filed 100 affidavits. He has maybe 20 to go. But this is a gentleman who was telling us, I have filed 53. Give me 1 day. I filed 100, I think, and 27 affidavits, something like that. Now, if we have taken 5 days, responded by 300 affidavits, 53, how much time would we need to respond to 127 affidavits? We would need maybe another 2 weeks. And we need to respond by over 500 affidavits. Is that fair? Natural justice and fairness is not it's not one-way traffic. That's what the court told him. He said, yes, you can file your affidavit, but what about the other side? How much time and how much trouble would they have to go through to respond to these things that you're saying all over the country? What reason do you have for not continuing to file? Even if you have 2 affidavits, drop in. So the Mambaba's precedent of 2016, my view, does not rhyme in the same.
The comparison
doesn't come out because the circumstances were different. Somebody kept filing. You see, if Kyagulanyi had the 10 affidavits left, 20 affidavits, which you could respond maybe in 2 days or 1 day, it would have been fair to allow him to file them. But it's a man talking about hundreds of affidavits, 127 to be specific, and he wants us to respond to them in 3 days. That's not fairness. That's not justice.
What does this mean to National Unity Platform? I know you're from the NRM camp,
yes, yeah.
But of course, legally, what does this mean to the person who came to court I remember the words of Justice Alfonso Unyidoro when he said, we did not invite anybody. He was very clear. We did not invite anybody to court. Now that you've come, here you are. So what does this mean to National Unity Platform?
For me, well, I don't know. I wouldn't really be in position to speak so much about what this whole thing means to them. But for us, to them, we've really expended money. First and foremost, us to them, we've spent money to put together this operation for almost 1 month or even more. And this is money that, under the law, he should be able to refund our clients. Because in this kind of petition, you want to imagine that a client tells a lawyer, come and spend a month here or 2 here or 3 here. There's instruction fees paid. And you can imagine some of this money could have been paid already. So our clients should be fairly compensated. This is not a matter that should be taken lightly, in my view. And I have heard colleagues argue that this is a presidential election petition where costs should be borne by either party, each party should have their own costs. But I don't think that this is a scenario that I like the court to encourage going forward. That you come to the court after 2-3 weeks with reparation and walk off. We are going to see more of these in the years ahead. It's not good for the courts. It's not good for our democracy. It's not good for our system. So my own opinion is that, of course, in consultation with our colleagues in the NRA team, this is a thing, of course, that we should be able to press hard. We go to the court and let this man pay us some of this money back. And we are not the only ones. There is the Electoral Commission, has a whole team of lawyers. There's the Attorney General, has a whole team of lawyers. So, but still, that is something for the court to decide. When he finally files his application to withdraw the case, we'll have the opportunity to speak to the court about why we think we should be paid heavy costs. And in my view, I would really be supportive of a heavy bill, because this is a scenario that we should be able to prevent in future. Somebody comes and says, oh, I took a petition to court, I embarrassed them, and walks off. The next day you're going to have, for lack of a better person, a Katumba saying, oh, I'm going to file a petition after 2 weeks, I'm good, no costs. We can't be in this kind of drama, in my view. So a precedent, in my view, should be set against this kind of lousy conduct. You see, but I don't know if you appreciate the seriousness of a presidential election petition. This is not something that you walk in lightly. It's not your normal Chibanja dispute, the 50 by 100 dispute. It's a serious contestation. It's a serious matter. So a precedent must be set about the seriousness of this case. If you walk into it, you must be able to see it through. Unless you have really valid reasons.
Valid grounds.
Absolutely.
For you to quit.
But you can't tell me that I was stopped from filing my evidence, that's why I'm withdrawing. You had
so,
14
Counsel,
days.
do you see any content in or anything worth clinging on to in the Kyagulanyi petition?
But I also need to tell you that if the Honorable Kyagulanyi files an application to withdraw the petition, one of those other candidates, the 11, the 10 remaining, 9 now, because the president is the respondent, might apply to be substituted. So you might find Katumba or the lady Nancy applying to the court, or Kableta, because I saw Kableta in this petition filing a very huge affidavit in support of the Honorable Kyagulanyi's case. So you might find him applying to be substituted in the name of the Honorable Kyagulanyi, and the petition will continue. But I think for me that if for whatever reason the petition were not withdrawn, there's really nothing to talk home about. It's for lack of a better word, it's bogus. For me, once I read the affidavits he gave us and what we gave him, bogus. Zero chance of success, at least from our point of view. There's nothing. You see, this is a candidate, this is a contestant who was rogue. They would agree on a campaign venue. You go and campaign from UBC compound. He reaches UBC compound and says, no, I don't think it is nice. I'll go to Crescent Towers compound. But the day before, security forces had agreed with his own agents that you'll be campaigning from this ground. They prepare it. They provide security, put tents. He reaches there and says, no, I don't think I'll go there. I'll go to another place. And that was repeated throughout the country. Take this route. We have COVID guidelines. If you go through the city center, where your campaign venue is not, crowds are going to come together. Please, just avoid that. Go to the venue. You can use this shorter route and get the... No, I want to go through the city center. So, these are the things that we wanted to show the country.
Those were part of the affidavits that you had brought before court.
Yes,
that you find not...
We had a rogue candidate who refused to follow no law, who refused to follow no procedure. He was doing exactly what he wanted to do. As if there are no laws or there are no procedures or there were no guidelines for the election. There were. And many of the candidates, 80% of them followed these guidelines. You see, this is not somebody who had anything to speak home about. Nothing. And for me, I was actually not. It was just a hollow thing. It was just something bogus. You had no chance of success. Definitely zero. Yeah.
Well, you've been to court a number of times. Now this is the fourth time if you have to look at all petitions. Yeah. Doesn't this concern you? What is the bearing of this particular case on the previous election petitions we've had?
Well, I have had the opportunity. In the first two petitions, the first one, I was at high school in 2001. The second one, I was finishing university. But I've had a chance to look at the decisions of both of those courts. I participated in the one in 2016. It would have been better, in my view, for whatever it's worth, for the Honorable Kyagulanyi to see through this petition. Because if you look at the other three, whenever the court, you see, this presidential petition, what the court does to it is an inquiry. It's not a normal, Robert, tell me what you want, tell me what you want me to hear, tell me that. The court does more than just hearing Robert and Carleo in a land dispute. Actually, the Constitution and the law speaks of an inquiry. Okay? The court inquires into what happened in the election. That is why you have a scenario of what I just spoke about earlier here, that a candidate may substitute himself for the Honorable Kyagulanyi, because it's about the whole country. It's about an inquiry into what happened. I don't know if that will happen, but it would have, it always sets grounds on a whole lot of things that then determine a beautiful path, a democratic path for our country. I'll tell you, for example, the 2016 petition of the Honorable Mbabazi was bogus. Even it was bogus. It was a very weak petition. But at the end of it, you got good recommendations, for example, from the court. The court told you, for example, that you amend the law. Give the petitioner 15 days. More 15 days. 15 days instead of 10. Within file the petition. You got the Supreme Court telling you, have 45 days. Okay? Have 45 days within which you can hear the case. Previously it was 30. So you get a number of good developments around the law area, around this democratic area, at the hearing of an election petition of this matter. But if he chooses to withdraw the petition at this stage, you might miss some of those things that that really provide a clean and clear path for our democracy.
Councillor Karule, if the matter is a public interest case,
yes,
then why are you pushing so much for financial compensation?
You see, it's a public interest. You would call it a public interest case, but this is a matter where my client, for example, has been personally sued. The reason why, you see, if we had handled the case to the end, the precedent has been that, oh, this is a public interest matter, it's an election matter, every party bears their own costs, a presidential election. And this has been the precedent. From 2001, nobody has ever paid costs. But what I like to discourage is this business of filing a petition and somewhere in the middle you run away. You make the process look unserious. Yes, it is ordinarily a very serious issue. You see, so that is why I would insist. Of course, if we had argued the petition through to the end, nobody normally asks for costs. But you want to discourage this kind of behavior, in my view. You see that somebody can just come to the court.
So you're looking
with
for
games.
a deterrent.
A deterrent, yes. I mean, you can't.
So that precedence is set that
yes,
before you go to the Supreme Court, you must have your facts right.
It is something that you must think through very carefully. It is something that you must, it's a step, if you think you want to take it, that must come to you after clear thought and consideration. It's not a small matter. It's not a very matter as lousy as you would want to think. It is a matter that determines the democratic path of our country. This is a matter that determines who the next president should be. It's a very serious issue. You don't play movie games or your rubber games in this kind of serious matter. No. That should be deterred, in my view. And that's why I would heavily and strongly argue for a sentence of costs.
Well, time is not so much on our side, but before we conclude, I just want to know from you as a legal practitioner, what is the public court? When someone says public court, does it exist?
There is nothing. There is nothing called a public court, at least in our systems. I think what he means is that he wishes to go back to the masses and apparently show them the evidence that he was denied to bring to the court. I'll tell you, I've not seen that evidence, but I can tell you from what I have seen, at least the evidence that he gave us, that it must be hollow as he gave us. And for me, this public court, we've been there. We've been there. We were there on the 14th. You see, the public court is the same public that voted for us, that voted for our candidates. So I do not think that he's going to get anything different from what he got on the 16th. We went to the public. We told them our views. Kyagulanyi told them, the president told them, and Ugandans, by almost 60%, told the president, you are the right person. That is the public court, unless he has another one that he's going to. So I wonder what he will get out of there. But I want to see the evidence that he gives to the public, because what he had given us so far was hollow, empty.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Counsel Karule Ahmed Mukasa, who is on the legal team of NRM representing His Excellency in the presidential petition. We wait, will Kyagulanyi, will we see his lawyers file the withdrawal, or will it also remain at a press conference? Have a lovely day, keep safe, keep calm, don't be lost in events, because your life is a priority. God bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do. Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
Daddy, surprise! Here is a pizza for you. Happy birthday to you.
Daddy, you look not impressed. My daughter, this is not meaningful to me. Hallelujah Natural Drinks is my ideal gift today.
Hallelujah Ginger Tea Drink and Hallelujah Tamarind Drinks are the most perfect, nutritious and healthy products that help everyone to boost their immune system to get complete relief of most sicknesses like joint pains, cough, diabetes, blood pressure, easy digestion and many more, and certified by UNBS. For orders, find us at Bifro House on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road, opposite MBI. Hallelujah Natural Drinks, perfect for your health.
Double Data. Airtel introduces Double Data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh, bino bye biruma abayaye. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.